So we are here in 2016, just 3 years ahead now. We have participants from I think more than 10 countries here. It was really exciting. The developer workshop yesterday was, I think, leaps ahead of what we had seen even last year. So if you were here last year, the kind of energy, the kind of people, the kind of projects people are already building on ERPNext is just amazing. So we are all inspired to see the community come in and take over. So thanks to the community for that. So that's the hashtag on Twitter for the conference. So I'm Rushabh. I'm the founder CEO of Traffic Technologies. Started ERPNext. Those who have read the story on the blog as a project for my family business in 2005ish, and then I started doing IT services for a bit. And in 2010, we decided. I realized I'm not designed for services. I'm going to do a product. ERPNext was always open source, but I didn't really understand what is open source and how it works, and so I'm still learning. So the real difference we see this year is that this event and even the project is now fully powered by the community. So first is we have 8 sponsors for the event. So big hand to the sponsors. We just thought we should put up sponsorships for those who want to sponsor, and really happy to see that 8 people decided to come forward and sponsor the event. And I think the cost of the event is actually comes from the sponsorship. So now we have t-shirts and other stuff thanks to sponsors. So these are our sponsors. We have Cloud8 from Singapore, Tony is here, Eric from Think Digit IT, Justin from AG Technologies here. Justin is here. Hi, welcome. We have Rohit from Corsent, Rohit and his team here. And then we have Andrew from IIG. That's Andrew from Australia. MN Technique team is here. So we have MN Technique as a sponsor. Indictrans is here. Yeah, Indictrans. They are our earliest service providers, I would say. Excited to see Indictrans. And Mankala from Nigeria, who are actually sponsoring the live streaming. So thanks, Mankala, if you can hear us. You guys are awesome. So just a quick update from what we discussed in the last conference. So we announced that we'll be starting a foundation, and we started the process on October 15th, 2015. And this is October 15th, 2016. We applied for digital signatures on October 15th, 2016. And then we need to have an approval of name, so we wanted ERPNext Foundation as the name of the foundation. Makes sense. But we had to give, so we got rejected. That name got rejected, so we had to give other options. So we said ERPNext Foundation, ERPNext Software Foundation, and since we had to minimum give 3 names, so we said ERPNext Open Source Software Foundation. So 6 months, but we are there. And then the final step. There's one more step remaining. We need a certificate of incorporation. We don't have that yet. So again, we had a discussion on what the foundation will be like and what kind of membership type and committees, and I would have loved to have this discussion if the foundation was ready, but it's still not. I still wanted to exist on paper, but like we have already discussed on the forum that there will be different membership levels. The Linux Foundation has a model where if you pay more, you get to be a director in the foundation, but other foundations don't do that. It's based on nomination, and so we are not sure. We are open to all kind of models. What we really like is instead of having a single board do everything, we want to have smaller groups. Like we have a projects team, we have different committees for not only different modules but also projects and proposals. So we'll invite proposals from the community and also so the foundation committee will decide whether the proposal will be accepted and who will execute the proposal and all of that and the testing and everything. So we're really excited to get this process started too as soon as it starts. That's about the foundation. So the topic of my talk is going to be from the cathedral to the bazaar. So when open source started in the 80s and the 90s, when it started getting popular, this very so the first, probably the first really real set of literature to document what really happens in an open source project was done by Eric Raymond. Very popular essay, and if you're been in the open source community or interested in open source software, free and open source software, I mean, I'm sure you would have read this essay. So Eric Raymond has set the standard for like what, I mean, he's observed the Linux project very closely, and he's also been a maintainer of many of the libraries, and I think he's also the creator of FetchMail library. So very popular guy. So I'm adopting this this talk actually from Eric's essay. This is what we like when we say cathedral. I mean, this is what we think of: a beautiful structure, the vision of an architect, and executed by a team of people, and that's the cathedral model. That's how software used to be built in the 90s and 2000, but not anymore. I mean, these days it's more like a bazaar. And when you say bazaar, I mean, this is the first picture that comes up on Google Images. That's how everybody makes presentations these days, right? With bazaar, like picked up a picture. So basically, that's a bazaar. That's what you typically see when you think of a bazaar. It's a place where people come in, people have their own space where they sell their goods, they exchange, they trade, and it's chaotic. Nobody really controls how things happen, how prices move, and how it looks. But when I really think of a bazaar, I think of this. You know, this is also bazaar in my mind, right? Because this is not the vision of one person. Like when you look at cities and very large scale, I mean, no architect can dream of building a really large scale environment. So even the city in a way is kind of a bazaar, right? Where everybody has their plot and they decide what is the best economic value and how to make their part of the land more attractive and more. And then it creates value for everybody. Everybody gets choices, everybody gets assets, they get access, surplus, resources, excitement, activity. So that's also bazaar. So that's how I think large scale collaboration is actually happening. And in 2010, I don't think this argument even exists. Like nobody does Cathedral. So if you look at organizations with most open source contributors on GitHub, Microsoft is number one. So so this is Microsoft is already accepted that the bazaar is one. It's a no-brainer. And a lot of people ask me. I mean, I had this discussion again and again yesterday. Like, why do you do open source? Why did you open source? And I said, isn't that the natural? Like, why would you do closed source? You know, I mean, that's. I mean, the world is accepted. It's just that not everybody of us really understands how open source works. So I'll again refer to Eric's original essay on the cathedral and the bazaar with the goal of enabling large-scale collaboration for ERP. So that's. So the first point Eric says is every good work of software starts by scratching a developer's personal itch. So that's how I started with ERPNext. That's how probably Linux started with Linux. That's how so when Linux started getting popular, he didn't have a version control system to manage the scale. So he started another project, he called it Git. And today Git powers collaborative software development across the world. So it starts as a personal itch. I mean, you find something that's annoying in ERPNext, right? There are 800 and whatever, 900 open issues. And you find something that's annoying to you. So this is another thing, you know, we even in the workshop yesterday comes up again, and let's do this feature. Let's have why are there no checkboxes in the grid? You know, we should be able to do this. We should be able to do this. The reports should be full screen. You know, something annoys you, right? A lot of things annoy me also, and that's how I start. And that's how you should start. Just find something that annoys you and give you a lot of satisfaction. I mean, people talk about altruism, but at the end of the day, you know, to satisfy yourself is also a great thing. So and that's the good thing about the bazaar model, right? You find something that's interesting to you, you fix it. Good programmers know what to write, great ones know what to rewrite and reuse. So another principle of building good large-scale open source software is a solution probably exists in some form, in incomplete form. You just reuse a lot of the stuff and then just add your stuff instead of recreating the same thing again and again. Just reuse. It's smarter, so when I set up a Twitter account, and I believe personally, as my own personal programming philosophy, is that the best code is the one which is not written, and that's how I put my web bio everywhere. The best code is the one which is not written. So you write a piece of code, you solve a problem by writing a piece of code, great. Solve a problem without writing a piece of code, amazing, right? So the best code is the one that is actually not written and fine. So I made this presentation and I looked at what's the best available advice on open source, and I found Eric Raymond. So I thought, why create my own presentation? So I'm reusing Eric's presentation for this. Be prepared to throw one version away, you will anyhow. So the first time you do something never turns out to be good. We have thrown away many modules in ERPNext, many features again and again. That's how it happens. The first version of this presentation was also thrown out, but then we found something we could reuse. And so that's also the philosophy. Things will the first time you solve anything, obviously you don't understand. You're just trying to get your brain around how the whole thing works. And the first vision of something is not the best. I mean, once you get inside it, you have a lot more insight on solving a problem. Solving it the second time, third time always makes it better. That happens all the time. If you have the right attitude, interesting problems will find you. I find these questions on forum everywhere, on Quora, like how do I contribute to an open source project? How do I contribute to ERPNext? How do I contribute? How do I have the right attitude? So that is again something very important, that if you have the right attitude, interesting problems will find you. So there are two aspects of the attitude which I think I've observed in our team and which so one is be open to ideas. Don't have a fixed mind about having a particular solution to a particular problem. And the second attitude is execute fast. Like just do it. So we have this thing in our company, we call it GT, which basically means just do it. In Marathi, it means Geunta. So you just do it. That's the thing. Have the attitude, find a problem, fix it. So if you have the attitude, you will find lots of interesting problems, and you will find those problems are not something which somebody has, but not only those problems you have, but they are very interesting to solve too. So if you have the right attitude, interesting problems will find you. When you lose interest in a program, your last duty is to hand it off. So again, we're talking about the Bazaar and where people are coming and going, and there are a lot of people. It's a community. There is no one driving force. So you have this writing for handoff means that you have good documentation. Number one, you find the users, you support it for a while. So if it's used, if it has documentation, then anybody can take it over. So it's very important that whatever code you write, after a while, and you will get bored also, right? You don't want to keep working on the same library or the same module all the time. So if it's well documented, give it away to somebody. Somebody else will find it interesting. So design for handoff. That's very important. Treating your users as core developers is the least hassle route to improve. So I think the keyword here is least hassle because ultimately you're going to do this, right? Ultimately the user is the one that interfaces with the real world, not the programmer. So the programmer is somebody who just is in their own bubble doing their thing, but that's not the real world. The real world is being faced by the user. So if you build something thinking that you have more power than the user because you actually can create things, but that's not how it works. So involving users in, and you've seen again in over the last few months, we have done a lot more of this. I think the new POS and the new timesheets and a lot of these other things that we'll talk about, and we have taken much quick feedback from users, and it's actually treating them as core developers. So it's a bit counter. Release early, release often. We already do that, and this was a very this is a common question by people who want to contribute. How do we like make things contributable? So one thing is, don't wait for your project to get over. And if you have a big piece of software, a big contribution, just break it up into smaller parts. Keep releasing stuff, and it makes us easier for us to also accept your contribution, and also you feel happy that at least you're making progress. There are a couple of other, I think most companies follow this now. Facebook has this internal rule, they say move fast and break things. So, and Matt Willenberg of WordPress, he has this line which we like very much. It goes like, release is the oxygen for new ideas. So when you complete a piece of code, it's gone, you're free. And then you get new ideas to build new stuff. So break up your project into smaller stuff. I was discussing with Eric and Andrew the other day that the address in ERPNext should be many to many, and it's a no-brainer. It should be. So maybe that itself is a fix. Somebody can just fix that and just push it, and then doesn't have to be a part of a big shopping cart project. Right? So just small fixes, and like Andrew, how they've built a big email system, but even just syncing IMAP inboxes, IMAP folders, that itself is a decent small size project. So release early, release often, release in small patches, easier to merge, easier to contribute to, and again more happier because you feel you make progress. Given a large community, almost every fix is obvious to someone. So we have a decent community now. The larger the community grows, somebody has the problem, somebody has fresh eyes, somebody has better insight into a problem. So everybody is not an expert on anything. Sometimes you will just be stuck for some reason. I think in a lot of cases, having a bigger community and driving that process of getting more people to participate in the community will fix problems a lot faster. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing more to take away. Right? So addition and reduction are both part of the process. So we keep adding things, but we should all take them away. And that is actually what brings something to perfection. When it's complete and there's nothing more to take away from it. And that is why we see products that are actually very complete, like your Apple products. They don't have too many visible features. They have a lot more features than you can see, but they're not so visible. And in that sense, we have a long way to go in terms of ERPNext. We can take away a lot of things, and everything. Every time we take away something, somebody is really annoyed. A great tool lends itself to uses you never expected. So the way I would interpret this is that when you're building a feature, there are parts which are very specific to your own use case, but there are parts of it which are very generic. So if you build it in a way that it is generic and you can customize, then you will never know how people are going to use that tool. So I'll give you an example. We were building an admission system for the school I'm helping implement ERPNext, and then we had a application form, and then we needed a payment system that people who apply for an admission have to pay it, and then the ability to pay on a form is a very generic feature, right? Everybody can use that feature. So that's how we built it. We built it in different steps. So trying to make things very generic, not very specific to one particular use case, is what really makes a tool great. Never throw away information unless the recipient forces you to. Again, apart from I think experience is that in ERPNext we have seen that you can add so much information. You can add attachments, comments, scene and scene. We've seen. I mean, there are lots of stuff you can keep adding. So we have letterheads and prints and terms and conditions. A lot of this information which may seem not very interesting to some people may be very important. So principle of good design: you should never throw away information. Anything the user wants to enter in the system should remain in the system. Solve an interesting problem. Start by finding a problem that is interesting to you. I think this is again kind of a repetition of an earlier point, where we are talking about everybody finding their own interesting problems, and that's really amazing for the community. That is where we'll see things really multiply from here. If everybody finds their own interesting problem, starts fixing it, and you're going to see so many interesting solutions today through your day. And not all of them are on the core product. So if all of them are there, it's going to be great. So, and this is in terms of leadership. Many heads are better than one. Clearly, that's how open projects are run. There is no one leader. I mean, currently we have become the bottleneck in a sense. We're getting a lot more contribution requests, not able to respond. I think this conference was a great opportunity for us to meet the contributors and understand the problems they've been having and our feedback on how we can speed up the process. We are also very happy to increase the number of maintainers on the project. They don't have to be working for Frappe. They can be anybody. People have a reputation, have done some contributions. I think that system of meritocracy, if it's there, we are happy to add more maintainers to the project. And also, in the sense of functional experts, another area is people have functional expertise in manufacturing, in accounting, in like a lot of these areas. So we don't have expertise in everything. Clearly, we're just code monkeys. So we just, I mean, so if you have expertise in stuff, just volunteer yourself. I mean, we haven't figured out a structure to bring everybody together, but just volunteer yourself. You know, I can look into accounting, I can look into manufacturing, and what you can do is you can help us prioritize the features, and then when those features actually get released, then help us help the community, help others. Beta test them and give like really fast feedback before it goes into like a final thing. So this is again, I added a couple of slides from our discussions yesterday, like what's custom, what is core. Everything that more than one organization can use is core, and everything the only one organization uses is custom. And I think if you ask that question to any feature you're building, can this be used by other users, then it should be in the core. That's the simple answer. And if we are happy to discuss on GitHub issues, and like you can put a proposal on the forum saying like I'm not sure whether this is core or custom, and then I'm sure the community will reply and we'll come to some conclusion. So other thing is I want to talk about is paid apps. You know, paid apps is kind of the holy grail for open source projects, or it just becomes a I mean, the entire, I mean, if you see business software, whether it's Odoo or whether it's all the other software, I mean, how does the community monetize their efforts? Right? Everybody wants to capitalize on their intellectual property. That doesn't happen. I mean, if you want to have paid apps, just go to Odoo. You know, that's the mindset. You know, if you're here, then you're not monetizing on the license. No, you're not monetizing on your code. I'm sorry. If you're thinking I'll make this paid app and then I'll like sit and relax and the money will just keep flowing, no. That's not what we do, that's not what you're going to do. So if that was your plan, then that's not something we want to support as a community. And it's also, I think it's a false dream too, because there are 2.5 million apps on Google Play. How many of them actually make money? You know, it's a question to ask. I mean, just because anybody can make an app, is it going to really solve your problem? I mean, Odoo claims they have like thousands of apps. I don't know how many apps at the last count, but just last evening I was checking. Their most popular app was bought 13 times. You know, I mean, is a developer actually making money? I think from the point of view of the user, who's going to Odoo or any open source project with the spirit that they're going to make this. They want to use this product as an open source project, as a community project, and they suddenly realize that they have to go through 5,000 apps to find out what works for them, and then like some of it is paid, and like some of it is like appears free but is paid, and then you're totally confused, and you're cheated, and you're betrayed, you're cheated, and that's not what you want to do. Imagine you go to Wikipedia, and then you open a page, and then you see you're going to sign up. Nobody's going to use Wikipedia, right? Because it's very clear. It's there. There are no paid apps. So we're clear about that. No paid apps. I think Odoo is really after this, and I think everybody thinks as a community this is the model. I'm happy to discuss later on if you have counter views on this. But I think Odoo follows the latest fads, and they just followed the paid apps fad, and they follow what we do. So don't be surprised if next also says no paid apps. So another question, a lot of people ask that, oh, we updated and then we suddenly saw schools were there. Like people were surprised, like why is school here? ERPNext is for businesses, it's for retail, it's for like. So our also vision for so since you don't have anything, then everything is a monolith. Is what architecture is called, where every domain is going to be an ERP. So we want really agriculture, we want real estate, we want non-profits, we want every domain to be in ERPNext, built in a very elegant manner so that based on your permission, you see parts of it. There are a lot of other benefits also, like you don't have to, suppose you take an app and the developer doesn't maintain it anymore, then you're stuck with that app which is not updatable. You want to upgrade the core, but you can't update just because your app is old. But if it's all in, it's all upgraded together. So if you're going to rename delivery node to shipment, your app still depends on delivery node, and then it's not going to work. But if it's all in, if anything is updated to shipment, then we make sure the entire system is shipment. I mean, whenever any change comes, it's much more upgrade friendly to put everything in a monolith, and it's much more better for the user. Then the user only based on permissions, you discover features based on like what you need. You don't have to go anywhere. You know? Another example is the Mac operating system, where you have a Office suite and you have a iMovie and everything is built in. So it just makes it life so much easier for the user. And finally, I want to say just contribute. That's the message from us to the communities, and let's contribute, let's do this together. Let's not go the path where commercial open source is going. It's not good for you in the end. You know, it may look very lucrative upfront, but it's not good for you. Thanks.